This video is sponsored by Poco. Gaming smartphones are usually priced at a premium or at something where most people can't afford. And Poco said, no, that is not the case. I have two smartphones for you from Poco that really hit the mark for gamers, and I think you're gonna love it. The first one is the Poco F7 Ultra right here and the Poco F7 Pro. Now, the Ultra comes in two colors, that lovely yellowish orange and a black, while the Pro comes in three colors in total. Now these phones look really nice. I love the feel and texture to them, and they pack a lot of performance in there. The F7 Ultra, for instance, comes with a Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset. Yes, it does come with a high-end chipset on a budget device. It also has a 6.67-inch display, which is a 2K display and goes to a maximum nit brightness of 3200, which is impressive. It has a touch sampling rate of 480 Hertz and an instant touch sampling rate of 2560. Now, you flip it to the back, you've got a triple 50 megapixel camera setup, and then the heart, of course, is that Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset. The other chip they also have there is Poco's own VisionBoost D7 chip, which enhances visual fidelity on that display, and that display looks absolutely gorgeous. Looking at Goku right here, looks stunning. Yes, I'll leave the wallpapers for you guys below. Now, there's more to that performance FPS increase with WildBoost 4.0. Something that's really crucial is also the hardware, and that is the VisionBoost D7 chipset. Now, combined with WildBoost, you're getting a performance increase that really goes beyond what you expect. Now, with smartphones today, we get 2K resolution, 120 to 144 Hertz refresh rate, which is nice, but a lot of these games do not take advantage of that increased hardware performance. This is where the VisionBoost D7 chipset comes in hand, as well as WildBoost 4.0. Now, what you get with the VisionBoost D7 chipset is 2K super resolution, 120 frames per second, smart frame rate, and of course, game HDR and dual core visuals. You get all of that at the same time with VisionBoost D7 chipset experience with WildBoost optimization 4.0. Impressive. But you also have a 5200 milliamp battery with 120 watt hypercharging, faster than anything out there, including like the S25 Ultra, as well as a 50 watt wireless charging. Now, the Poco F7 Pro is no slouch as well. It's powered by Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, which is a flagship processor from last year. Also has the same 2K display with all the specs I mentioned on the Ultra, but comes with a 6000 milliamp battery and a 90 watt hypercharging. So let's get into performance and what we get from these devices. But I'm gonna set this down for a second, that's the Pro, and focus on the Ultra, because we're gonna get into some benchmarks and some gaming, right? Geekbench. It's in line with everything you expect from Snapdragon 8 Elite, single core, multi-core, and GPU scores. But let's jump into that gameplay. Started off with Call of Duty Warzone. Warzone, with the settings you see on screen, I should be getting 120 frames in terms of frame rates, and I got that quite easily. It games pretty well, very smooth. That touch sampling rate really helps with shooters, and it shows here on this device. Then I moved on to PUBG Mobile. PUBG Mobile, also with the settings on screen, I should get 120 frames per second, and I got 120 frames per second. So this is in line step by step with a Snapdragon 8 Elite device like the Galaxy S25 Ultra, but you're getting this on a budget phone. Now, the big test comes in with Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact playing at maximum settings, but for an hour. Now, as you know with Genshin Impact, with any Snapdragon 8 Elite device, you should be getting 60 frames per second, and I did. I did a long gameplay, and I'm getting 60 frames per second. Solid, very smooth, but there's a little difference here. I can actually go to a higher frame rate on the Poco 7 Ultra. I can go to 120 frames per second playing Genshin Impact, and I did play for that hour. And when you look at it with the game settings on screen, it plays absolutely gorgeous. And you're wondering, how you get 120 frames per second on Genshin Impact? Well, there are a couple of things you need to do, and there's something called WildBoost that is built into the Poco F7 Ultra and the F7 Pro that really takes it to the next level. What you need to do is make sure your resolution is at 2K, so make sure that's changed. Then you want to go to the Game Turbo app and you want to select Genshin Impact. You go into the game, right-hand side, go to Custom, and then swipe up. There you change your resolution to max, and you slide your frame rate to 120 frames, start up your game. Once you start up your game, and you start playing Genshin Impact at your highest settings, again for 60 frames per second, make sure you swipe from the left. That opens up the Game Turbo overlay. In that overlay, go to Performance Settings, select Custom, go to Enhanced Visuals, and make sure Super Resolution is turned on and Smart Frame Rate is also turned on. Then you go out and you make sure your game mode is set to Wild Boost, from balance to Wild Boost. This helps you get 120 frames per second while playing Genshin Impact, which is truly impressive. But I want to take it a little step further, and I decided to go ahead and play Call of Duty Warzone. Now, if you know very well, I've played Call of Duty Warzone on every single Snapdragon 8 Elite device, and I have not gotten the best results. Whether it's software or whether it's just the devices, I can't tell. And just like how Genshin Impact on the F7 Ultra did 120 frames per second better than what the Galaxy S25 Ultra can do, Warzone is also no different. So I did the same thing, turned on Wild Boost, and boom, maximum game settings with high graphics up. I'm getting 120 frames per second playing Call of Duty Warzone. And it is butter smooth. I won 2 games. I also played a 4th game. I should have been making this video. I stayed up playing longer because I got such a smooth gaming experience. And honestly, it's something that you should be getting from every single high-end gaming device. But take a look for yourself and also take a listen.
You've been a naughty boy.
Another test subject. You're open. Fry!
You're in for a little shock.
Fry!
Oh no, I'm gonna ruin my gloves. Here.
Changing mag. Target down. Teeing up down. Target's in sight. Enemy down. Predator missile on standby.
Gameplay looked absolutely good, and the audio sounded great with those dual stereo speakers, which are nice. Now, I'm not forgetting the F7 Pro here. I also did the same thing. I played Genshin Impact, and I turned on Wild Boost, and I got up to 90 frames per second. Now, you know this Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 can do 60 frames per second with Genshin Impact, but this is something better than even the S25 Ultra, which means both Poco F7 Ultra and F7 Pro can get higher frame rates than S25 Ultra or any other Snapdragon 8 Elite device, which is impressive. Now, you're wondering, how can I get it and how much? Pricing for this device is quite impressive. On screen, you're gonna see the early bird specials for this because it comes with 2 variants, 256 and 512. The F7 Pro starts at $449 and then goes to $499, while the Ultra is $599 and $649. And the regular pricing for both devices, for the Pro is $499 and $549. The Ultra is $649 and $699. This device is well priced, and the performance you're getting from it is impressive. As a gamer, you're gonna love it, and it's going to be something that you can use at a low cost that's not gonna break your wallet. So if you wanna pick it up, use the link down below because I think you're gonna like this device. And also, if you have any questions or any comments, you wanna see something, you wanna know how things work, let me know. I'll try and answer them for you. But this is Thunder E saying thank you, and always enjoy entertainment.